How does a human being become someone? Not something. Someone. A distinct, recognizable, undeniable self. Because most people never do. Most people are assembled, not built. They inherit a face from their parents, a language from their country, a set of ambitions from their friends, a moral code from their algorithm, and they spend 80 years defending this random collection as if it were a self. It isn't. It's a costume. And the cost of wearing it your whole life is a very specific kind of loneliness, the loneliness of never having met yourself. So let's begin properly. Aristotle believed that every living thing has a telos, an end, a purpose it is straining toward. The acorn strains toward the oak, the child strains toward the adult, and the adult, if he is lucky, strains toward something Aristotle called eudaimonia, which is usually translated as happiness, but actually means something closer to full flourishing, the complete expression of what you were made to be. For Aristotle, becoming someone was not a choice, it was a fulfillment. You already contained the person you were meant to be, the way a seed contains a tree, and your only job was to remove what was blocking the growth. 2,000 years later, Nietzsche disagreed, violently. There is no seed, he said. There is no essence waiting to be uncovered. You are not discovering yourself, you are creating yourself. And most people, faced with this terrifying freedom, immediately hand it back. A political tribe, a career path, a subculture, anything that will tell them who to be so they don't have to decide. Nietzsche called this the herd, and he said the herd is where selves go to die. His prescription was brutal and beautiful. Become who you are, not who your parents wanted, not who the culture rewards, not who your fear allows, who you are. And he warned that this process would cost you almost everything, because the self you build will not be compatible with the life you inherited. Here is what both philosophers agreed on. Becoming someone is not passive. It does not happen to you. It is done deliberately over years against resistance by a person who has decided to stop being an accident. So how do you actually do it? Let's get concrete. The first step is not action, it is subtraction. Before you can build a self, you have to see what isn't yours. Sit down in silence without a phone and ask this question. What do I believe because I actually believe it? And what do I believe because someone I wanted to love me believed it first? You will be shocked at how much of your personality is a coping mechanism. The music you like because it made you feel accepted at 15. The politics you hold because your father held the opposite. The ambitions you chase because your mother made you feel small. The style you wear because a person you once dated said it looked good on you. None of this is you. This is residue. And you cannot become someone while you are still carrying the ghost of everyone who ever wanted you to be someone else. The second step is desire. Real desire, not performed desire. Most people have no idea what they actually want. They know what they are supposed to want. The salary, the partner, the house, the body, the approval. But if you interrogate these wants, you often find they are not yours. You want the salary because it would silence a specific voice in your head. You want the partner because you are afraid of being unchosen. These are not desires. These are wounds wearing the mask of desires. Real desire feels different. It is quieter. It does not need to be defended. It survives being alone in a room. Ask yourself what you would do if no one would ever know you did it. What you would build if no one would ever see it. What you would become if there were no applause and no punishment. Whatever answer comes up in the silence, that is a clue. That is the first honest word yourself has spoken in a long time. The third step is the hardest. It is what the psychologist Carl Jung called individuation, and what the mystics called the dark night of the soul. You have to meet the parts of yourself you have been running from your entire life. The envy, the cruelty, the cowardice, the strange desires, the versions of you that do not fit the story you tell about yourself. Jung believed that everything you refuse to look at in yourself does not disappear. It goes underground, and it runs your life from there. The man who refuses to admit he is angry becomes cold. The woman who refuses to admit she is ambitious becomes bitter. The person who refuses to admit they are afraid becomes controlling. You do not become someone by pretending to be good. You become someone by looking at everything you are, including the parts that horrify you, and deciding what to do with it. This is not therapy. This is alchemy. The gold is on the other side of the shadow, and there is no shortcut through. The fourth step is form. Once you know what is not yours, and what you actually want, and what you are actually made of, you begin to give it shape. This is where most modern advice fails, because it treats identity as a mood board. It is not. Identity is a set of decisions repeated until they become a body. You are what you do at 7 in the morning when no one is watching. You are what you say yes to and what you say no to. You are the friends you keep and the friends you have outgrown. You are the books on your shelf that you have actually read. You are the promises you keep to yourself in private. Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. He was not being poetic. He meant it mechanically. Your character is the accumulated residue of your choices, and if you want a different character, you have to make different choices every day for a long time, until the new self is heavier than the old one, and the old one falls away. The fifth step is exposure. You cannot become someone in private. At some point, you have to walk out into the world as this new person and let it be seen, judged, rejected, misunderstood. This is where most people quit. They build a new self in the safety of their own head, and then keep performing the old self in public because it is what everyone expects. But a self that only exists when no one is watching is not a self. It is a fantasy. You have to be willing to disappoint the people who loved the old version of you. You have to be willing to lose friends who signed up for someone else. You have to be willing to be called fake or arrogant or lost or changed, because you are changed. And the people accusing you of changing are the ones who needed you to stay the same so they wouldn't have to look at their own stagnation. Becoming someone is a lonely act before it is a lovable one. And here is the part almost no one tells you. There is a grief in this. You do not just become someone, you also stop being someone else. And that someone else, the one you were, the one who suffered and adapted and survived long enough to get you here, that person deserves to be mourned. He was not a fraud, he was a draft. And drafts are how books get written. Turn the page kindly, thank the earlier version for surviving what he had to survive, and then keep writing. The final thing to understand is this: becoming someone is not a destination. There is no day when it is finished. Nietzsche's phrase, "Become who you are," is written in the imperative because it never stops being one. Every year, life will hand you a new circumstance, and you will have to decide again who you are inside it. Someone gets sick, someone leaves. Something you built collapses, something you did not expect arrives, and each time the self you built has to grow, or it has to break and be built again. The people we call great in any field, in any century, are not people who found themselves once. They are people who kept becoming in public without apology until the day they died. That is the art, not arrival, continuation, not the statue. The sculptor still working on his own face in the dark every morning for the rest of his life. So look at your reflection again, the one in the dark window. And instead of asking who you were supposed to become, ask something better. What would it look like starting today to become him on purpose? Not all at once, not perfectly, just one honest choice, one honest sentence, one honest morning at a time. Because the self is not something you find, it is something you build, and the tools have been in your hands the entire time. You were just waiting for permission to use them. Consider this it. Now go build him.